Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Great to see all of your smiling faces. Thank you for everyone who's able to come on camera. Happy Thursday. You guys are winding down your first full week of instruction. I want to spend a little bit of time, debriefing that together. But before we do, we have the great Davian Rodriguez as our assistant instructor. Good morning, Davian. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself, Davian?
So I was born and raised in Bronx, New York. Graduated high school in 2016. Moved to Florida for a little bit. Tried to go to college over there, but wasn't really working out too well. Came back here in like 2018, and here I am in Europe.
Awesome. That's really great. We're in Florida. Where are you living?
I was in Altamont Springs, so it's like more like around the Orlando area.
Very cool. I love it. They always say Orlando's the sixth borough, right? Everyone from New York moves down there.
No, definitely.
Yeah, one time I was in Tampa and I saw a guy with a Yankees cap on. So of course I had to talk to him because that's what we New Yorkers do when we're outside of New York. And I was like, and he grew up on Fordham Road. And I'm like, do you miss the Bronx? And guess what he said to me, Davian? He said every day.
I don't blame him.
I'm like, what? I'm like, you're here in beautiful Florida. It's sunny. It's warm. He's like, yeah, I miss New York. He was an older guy. He retired down there.
So. Yeah, a lot of people who retire go down there. I would say like it's very nice living over there, but it's just like the environment is so much different compared to New York. It's very quiet. Not a lot.
Yes. Yep. Everything closes at 9 p.m.
Yeah. Can't even get a sandwich from the deli after.
Nope, forget it. I was down there for work in my previous job. I was in Orlando actually, and I tried to order food at like 11 o'clock. So my flight got in late, and it was Domino's Pizza. That was it. Only place open. Domino's. Gosh, I gotta get back to New York. So, cool. All right, so awesome. Thanks for sharing that. What's something interesting about you, Davian?
Something interesting about me is I'm a creative, so I like to design. I'm very into art, and I make music as well.
Great. What medium of art do you most work with?
I'm into graphic design. I do a lot of typography right now, which is just like word art. But something I want to get into is like video design, more visual art, like digital.
Yeah, I love that. What kind of music do you do?
Honestly, all kinds. I've been I started playing an instrument at 13. I play guitar, and like my family is very music oriented. I grew up like within the church, so my grandparents used to sing a lot on stage and stuff. And like right now, I make like a lot of like R&B kind of beats for people, hip hop, honestly, whatever.
I love it. You appreciate all genres, huh?
Yeah, I love every kind of music. Honestly, the only thing I really don't listen to much is country music. I'm not too much of a fan, but I appreciate all kinds of music though.
Yeah. So do you ever listen to like old country music, like from like the 60s and 70s? It's very different than like modern country. Not that I'm I'm not like a country sympathizer. I don't particularly care for modern country either. But like some of those old songs are like really really well done.
Yeah.
But anyways. Cool. So what is a question you want to pose to our group?
Well, being on the topic of music, I would say, what's you guys' favorite artist?
Awesome. So speaking of music, what's your favorite artist? Davian, how would you answer that question?
It's tough for me because, like I listen to everyone, but I'm gonna say Lil Uzi Vert.
Lil Uzi? Okay, cool. Awesome. And for me, also very tough to answer, Davian, because I like all sorts of music. But if I had to pick like my favorite band, would probably be the Dropkick Murphys, which is a band based out of Boston. But my favorite like rapper would be KRS-One. He's like an old school rapper. You guys might not know who he is, but I'm old, so you've heard of him. Yeah, he's one of the originals. So very good question, Davian. Thank you so much. We're looking at the chat box here. We got Young Thug. Actually, it's funny you say that. And Claire, I have a friend who makes beats, and he's convinced Young Thug is like the greatest rapper of all time. I don't know a single Young Thug song. I need to get educated. Drake, Bad Bunny. Yeah, I didn't know who Bad Bunny was until last year when he did like that moving concert through the Bronx, and all these like people on my block were freaking out over Bad Bunny. I'm like, that's why I knew I was old. I was like, who's Bad Bunny? I was like, what? What? You know who Bad Bunny is? I mean, yeah, I'm an old dad. Kill Switch Engage. Wow, I forgot about that band. Yeah, they're pretty good. Lil Uzi, Sam Smith, Bad Bunny, The Wonder Years, Fall Out Boy. I saw Fall Out Boy in concert when I was a younger person. KRS-One is a legend. He certainly is. Still making music. Tupac. Wow, Desmond, that's from my youth. He's definitely a legend for sure. J. Cole, Drake. Awesome. Who is this Bad Bunny? Okay, Rashi and I don't feel so bad. All right. Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you all for sharing. Thank you, Davian, for the question. And I just want to kind of open up the conversation by engaging the room. You know, your first week of instructions winding down. You're now your second week of program. You had orientation. I just want to kind of see how you guys are feeling. Like, you can raise your hand, and would love to hear if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling happy, if it's been easier than you thought, harder than you thought, if you're wondering why you made this decision, if you're happy you made this decision, whatever you got going on. Jesus, I saw your hand first.
I feel pretty good. I would say I feel just a little bit overwhelmed just because of all like the work from the different classes that are coming in, but it seems to be that you guys have spaced it out well, so we have enough time in between each assignment to do it.
Excellent. Thanks, Jesus. Alan, I saw your hand next.
Morning, everybody. This is Alan. Overall, I don't feel insanely overwhelmed. I think just a couple of things kind of caught me off guard. Yesterday, me and a couple of the other guys in LCS and IT just realized that we have an entire other asynchronous course that we have to go through in cybersecurity fundamentals. So that was kind of a left hook to the jaw that I wasn't expecting. But besides that, I mean, with the instructor courses, I feel like I have a pretty decent grasp on the workload. Now, granted, it's only the first week, and I know the workload and the expectations are going to get a little bit harder and harder. But in reality, I think it's going to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Good. Glad to hear that, Alan. Thank you. Jason, I think your hand was next.
I feel like I'm at a contest with myself because I'm always trying to be like ahead of the homework schedule. So I'm always focusing more on the homework, and then we get more. So it's always like a contest trying to be ahead.
I love it. It's like gamifying your Europe experience. It's a good way to look at it. Excellent. Kaisha?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I didn't find it overwhelming either. And I like that, you know, so like in high school or in college, a lot of professors only care about their class. It's not that type of environment where it's like, okay, you need to focus on my class solely. It's like, all right, we know you have these other things to do, and they understand how important those other classes are. And I'm also very grateful for my class, for everybody in the class. That has been such a big help in the whole learning process so far. And yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it's been positive overall for you, Kaisha. Let's go to Sikander.
The biggest problem for me is I was a night owl, and getting up these early mornings, it's taking a toll. Like, even though I get up early, I still can't fall asleep till really late, even though if I go to bed at a designated time. Workload wise, so far I haven't had any issues like getting my work done on time, and like the only thing is like I'm like checking, like, did I really hand this in? And then I go double, triple check. I'm like, yeah, I did do this. And then like 2 hours later, I'm like, I should probably check that again.
Yeah, it's a whole new experience for sure. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Sikander. Desmond?
Overall, this experience has been great for me. I'm glad I'm among those type of environment. I'm learning more every day. I'm learning new things. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Khadijah, let's have our last comment, and then we'll move on to the next activity.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that one thing I've learned so far, even though it's just 1 week, is that I'm learning to discipline myself more. Because I was also a night owl, but I find myself like finding new ways to sabotage myself, if I should say, to go to sleep early. Such as, putting a bunch of alarms that like keep reminding me of, you should go to sleep right now, because there's one moment I feel this way, the next moment I feel a different way. So I try to, remind myself of how I felt before. Like, oh, you really have to do this. The next moment, I'm like, no, I'll be fine. So that's why I have to keep doing that. So I keep learning stuff about myself. So I appreciate it.
For sure. A lot of comments that you made really resonated with me, everybody. But to go to Khadijah's point, put it in the chat box if you know the answer. Who is the hardest person in the world to lead? Who's the hardest person in the world to lead? Brian Muhammad, you nailed it. Yourself. And what you said, Khadijah, it takes self-discipline. It takes setting those alarms. It's finding out. Yeah, someone who knows it all is probably the second hardest person to lead. And sometimes, let's be honest, we think we know it all, so it's a double whammy. But one of the things that I really appreciate about Year Up as an organization and as a process is that support is definitely there. Myself, as well as the other instructors, your program manager, student services, everybody you met so far, we all work for this organization because we want to work with you to help set you up for success. All right. And like someone said earlier, I forget who it was, I apologize. Like, we believe all the classes you're taking here are valuable. And we also are totally cognizant. A lot of you have jobs. Some of you might have children. Some of you are taking care of aging parents. Some of you are taking care of little siblings. Some of you are living in a small place with a big family like I am. So we're definitely aware that you have a life outside of Year Up. So we try to be aware of that as well. But I just want you all to know that we, as a staff, are here for you. If you ever feel overwhelmed, just feel free to just email me or anybody else. Just say, hey, can we talk for a few minutes? I'm feeling stressed out. And the same with your colleagues as well. We're all on this journey together. We're here to support one another, and we want to create a support system where we all can be successful. Does that sound good? Any questions on that? Going once, going twice. All right, that was my motivational speech for 10:43 in the morning. Let's go ahead and jump into today's lesson. It'll be very brief, and then we're going to do some more customer service activity. But we're going to talk about a program within Outlook called Schedule Assist, which will save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. But before I do, I actually want to ask: is there anybody here who has a background in acting that wants to do a activity with me? Who also has a background in acting? Desmond, you do. All right. You and I are gonna. Oh, Miguel, you have a background as well in acting.
It's not a background in acting. I just like to do it though.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna make Desmond. I'm gonna put you as how do I do this here? Where's the thing? I don't know why it's not working. I wanted to spotlight you. And but go ahead, Miguel and Desmond, unmute yourselves. And Desmond, I want you to try to schedule a time to meet with Miguel. And Miguel, I just want you, every time he proposes something, be like, doesn't work for me, doesn't work for me, doesn't work for me. And I want to see Desmond get physically upset because, why not? It'd be fun. All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
So you're trying to schedule a meeting with Miguel. Just throw out times and ideas, and every single time Miguel's just going to be like, sorry, that doesn't work for me.
All right.
And scene.
Are you there?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I was looking forward to set up an appointment on this date. Do you have a specific time, or would you be available on that time? April 10th.
April 10th. Ooh. Around what time are you thinking?
Maybe 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock is perfect. You should be available.
2 o'clock. Ooh. I actually have to pick up my kids from school.
Wow. That's totally fine. What about 4 o'clock, like 2 hours after? Is that
4 o'clock. I'm gonna have to be making them dinner and stuff. Actually, as soon as I'm with my kids, I'm all theirs. So that day is actually not possible.
Wow. I understand. But what about maybe the next day after that day? Does that work
The
for
next
you?
day after that day,
At least at 12 o'clock during lunch?
12 o'clock during lunch. They have a day off tomorrow, so I actually have to be making them lunch.
Wow. All right. But is it what about the following day after that day? Like, are you gonna be available?
The
Let's say like
following day, that'll be Friday.
Friday. Yes, that will be Friday. Perfect.
Friday's actually my parents fly back in from Florida, so I'm gonna need to pick them up from the airport.
Wow. Well, I don't know what to say after this, but I appreciate your time and effort with the schedule. But thank you so much.
All right, let's go ahead and put our hands together for Desmond and Miguel. Miguel, I loved your creative excuses. So as you could tell, Desmond was getting visibly annoyed, as anybody would be. Great acting, by the way. So here's the thing, is that we talked about this yesterday. In the working world, you schedule meetings quite a bit. It's a huge part of your day. To have a conversation like what we just witnessed with Miguel and Desmond, how do you think that would make you feel if that was your day, going back and forth a million times, put in a chat box, trying to find time to work, and then obviously they never found a time that worked for them because Miguel had a life. Maria, how would you feel if that was your day every day? You're on mute, Maria. Yep, you're still on mute, Maria. Can't hear you.
I was a bit frustrated and I would just cry because I'm the person that like if I plan something with somebody and like for example, let's say they just agreed at the very last minute and then they decide to back off again, I'm just gonna not do anything anymore. I run out of patience quick. So let me just not do anything and that's it. Like no for you, no for me, no nothing for nobody. And that's
right. That's it. Yeah, there you go. You run out of patience. Yeah, you get annoyed, you get frustrated. Everyone's saying aggravated. Henry says, bring your kids to the meeting. Lost of patience. Yeah, annoyed, frustrated, all of the above. Let's just go ahead and be honest. Just feelings that none of us want to feel on a regular basis. So that's why Schedule Assist is going to become your new best friend when it comes to scheduling meetings. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull my screen. If you want to go off camera for this portion, we can do that. So let's go ahead. And what I like to do, this is my trick, tug rule to the question to ask when you have time. There's ever a person that wants to meet with me, but I don't want to meet with them. What I always say is the same thing. I always say, listen, I have a full-time job. I have outside projects outside of work. I got 2 young kids. I try to make time for my partner. I want to make time to do things that I enjoy. So if you want to meet up, I'll meet you at the Starbucks on 161st Street at 6 a.m. on a weekday. Would you be open to doing that? And what do you think happens most of the time? Suddenly, I'm not so interesting to meet with. Is that right, Jorge? People are like, oh, yeah, I can't get up that early. Sorry, I just can't do that. So that's a life hack as you progress in your career. If there's ever someone who's like asking you to meet up and you don't want to meet with them, just say 6 o'clock, Starbucks, I'll be there. And most people are going to say no. And those who say yes are those people who really want to connect. All right, I have the wrong thing pulled up. I apologize. I'm trying to show you guys the webmail version. So this is my calendar. You all know that. We learned this yesterday. This is what it looks like. So I want you to imagine that I need to schedule a meeting with Serena and with Malik. If you don't know who Serena is, she is the equivalent of Malik to LCM. If you don't know who Malik is, he is the equivalent to Serena in LCS. So let's suppose I want to meet with them. And let me just say, all right, I'm going to meet with them on Friday. Click my calendar, Friday, I hit more details. Are you, is Davian there?
Yeah, I'm here, Eric.
All right, Davian, can you see my screen where it says details in the top left corner?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sometimes it happens when I share like a new pop-up, it doesn't always display. So here's the details. We already know how to work this part. So what I'm going to do is over here on the right, it's going to say scheduling assistant. All right. And if you want to pull up on your screen to look at the same time, feel free to, but scheduling assistant right now, it all should be tracking pretty easily. I click on that. And what do I have here? I have my day, March 26th. As you can see here, we have this thing called Friday Flex Hours, which I love at Year Up, where we have some flexibility if we want to work, from home or whatever we want to do as well, working from home. So, but you have flexibility. But my day, by and large, it's pretty clear. So this is a good day for me. Now I'm going to type in Malik. Hey, wow, look at that. There's Malik's day on Friday. Okay. Now I type in Serena. There's Serena's day on Friday. So if I'm looking at this, what am I going to do? I'm going to hover over here. If I click, 9:30, see how it says 9:30 in the top left to 10 o'clock. And look at this, Eric Hoke free, Malik Williams. Well, let me just go ahead and annotate this so you can see. Eric, Serena, Malik, we are all free that time to meet. So that would be a good time to schedule the meeting, right? Now, let me go to a different day. Let's suppose we don't work Saturday, Sunday, obviously. Let's suppose, I don't know. We got to throw in Vanessa and Kachun as well. So if you look up here, Malik, Serena, Vanessa, Kachun. Now I'm looking at, our schedule here. Monday, March 29th, obviously we're not going to be at 9 p.m. And what do I see? I see a good time is where? Here. If I say 12 to 12:30, everybody's free except for Vanessa is busy. So that's not going to work. All right. Well, let me keep looking here. What about, 11:30 to 12. Everyone's free except for me because I have intro to computers until 11:45. But this is a pretty important meeting. Do you guys think I should end our class early on Monday the 29th and just meet with my colleagues? What do you guys think? Is that a good idea? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. So
no, not really.
Not a really good idea. Yeah. But if you look at the calendar, there's really no other time. I guess if I really wanted to squeeze in like a 15-minute meeting, in the afternoon, like from 3:45 to 4 o'clock, I could do that, but that's a lot. So look at this. Every single day, you can see people's, what they have going on. Now, this is what I love about Schedule Assist. We saw how frustrating it was for Desmond and Miguel to find a time to work together, and that was just 2 people. All right. Now imagine we've got 5 people that have to meet together. To find a time that works for all 5 of them is certainly a challenge. All right. So let me go ahead and remove drawings. Now here's the thing about Schedule Assist that I'm sure someone probably put in the chat box already, is that unfortunately with a student account, which is what you have at Year Up, you don't have the availability to see your instructors or staff's schedules. So you could do this on yours, type in my name, and you probably won't see my schedule, and that's fine. But you do have the opportunity to see it with one another. And also, when you get to your internship, you will see your colleagues as well. So I'm not going to send this because, this is, not, actually, no, I can do. Press OK. So there's everybody who's coming. And now I'm going to go ahead and put in my details. And then I would press send. And that's how Schedule Assist can help us make sure that we schedule a meeting on a time that works with everybody. I'm gonna stop sharing. Togrul, I see your hand.
I had just a small question. What's the companies are using, 2019 version or 365?
It depends on your internship. But really, I think most people would use 365 for this. Yeah, that's a really good question. And some places, to be transparent, Togrul, will actually use Gmail over Outlook. But the principles you're learning in this class are all the same. There's a Schedule Assist function with Google Calendar as well. Good question. Michael?
Oh yeah, I have another question. Let's say you don't know their schedule, or they don't share their schedule with you. Can you see their schedule still if you do schedule assistant?
That's a good question. So the answer is yes. You can see the schedule of anybody in your organization. So I could punch in the CEO and try to schedule half an hour with him, and I'll be able to see his calendar. And if you notice, like, it doesn't tell you the details of what they're doing. It just says they're busy. However, what I mentioned earlier is, like, given that you have student accounts, you won't have access to see, like, my calendar, for example, but you know that you can all see me during office hours, which is 3:15 to 3:45, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So that's available to you. But when you get to your career, you'll be able to see everyone's schedule within the company, which is great for planning out meetings. Anything else? Any other questions? So does somebody want to, someone who has a MacBook want to show how it looks on a MacBook, Schedule Assist? We can demo that quickly. Yeah, Todd Rule, please take it away.
Okay, let me share my screen now. So this is the calendar page. Then we go to meeting. Oh, no, this is my day. So when I try to create some meeting, I see the schedule assistant here.
Yep.
So here is the attendance people. For example, Taylor. Calendar. As I understood, they all free, yes, Mr. Eric?
Yes, it looks that way. It looks like everyone's open right now. So the way
Yeah.
the way that your screen looks a little bit different than mine is that green bar that's going vertically. Like, that's the different, like, you can slide that over and that'll tell you, like, the times. Like, right now you
Yeah,
have an
so the
hour and a
8,
half long meeting. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Or you just
9:30.
grab it and, like, slide it. Yeah, there you go with the hand feature there, and then that will move the time. But yes, as of right now, that's telling you that everyone's free during those times. If you look at the bottom, see how blue is busy, the blue with the lines through it tentative, green is away, and on it goes.
Yeah, so this.
That's interesting, Sikander. So yeah, Sikander, you're saying you put that you're, like, in a class from 9:30 to 10 o'clock on Thursday, March 25th, but it's not displaying there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it was the 25th. I thought it was just for today.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that the day he hit was the 25th. So if he were to hit today, he would see why when he would invite Sikander, hey, Sikander is busy 9:30 to 10, so I can't meet with him at that time. And I also can't meet with him in that time because that's in the past and I can't time travel. So, all right, cheesy joke. We'll keep going. All right, any questions on Scheduling Assist? Very simple function, very helpful function. I would highly encourage you to make it your new best friend. Kaisha, I saw your hand first. You're on mute, Kaisha.
Sorry. So with my MacBook, I am not finding the schedule assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want me to share my screen.
Sure, that's fine. Yep, go ahead.
All right.
All right, click on what time you want to do a meeting. Like, press on, like, the 15th at, like, 12 p.m. Click on that on your calendar.
Oh, sorry.
You're all right. Now scroll down. Yep, click on, you have to actually create the meeting first in order to get Schedule Assist.
Okay. Alrighty.
Do you know how to create a meeting, Kaisha?
Yeah, I uploaded the new I opened new meeting and then I like add the people.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you have to create the meeting first, and then schedule assist comes after the meeting.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right.
So if you saw like Todd Rule, like he made the meeting for the 25th, and then you saw the schedule assist button. So like if you hit the, once you create the meeting, then the schedule assist will appear. If you have any trouble with that, we're gonna take a break here in a few minutes. I'm happy to walk you through it again.
Okay. All right. No problem.
You're welcome. Yeah. So I'm sorry I wasn't more clear on that. So you have to create the meeting first, and then schedule assist will then show up. Joshua, I see your hand.
Were you using the app or the online, like the web version?
When I was demoing, I was using the web version.
Oh, okay. As the app, it looks different than the web.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I have the web version as well. It looks like kind of like what Toggle rules look like, where you have like that bar going across. Is that right?
So for the app, when I have scheduled meeting and I do the schedule assist, it has a bar, but it looks way differently than I guess the ones y'all guys had. I'll be able to share my screen if
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, show you. Kind of looks like this.
Yeah. The same as Tug Rules looked. So if you add like an attendee underneath where your name is, Joshua, or there as well, either way.
Oh, man.
You put,
Okay. Let's just do
that. Okay.
Oh, because they have no meetings, nothing would pop up or anything like that.
Right. That's what it looks like. I mean, yeah, no information.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wondering because I know. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. And what we can do also is when we do this, how many of you can raise your hand if you have the latest version of Zoom? Does anybody know if they do or not? So one of the cool things with the latest version of Zoom is that you can actually like choose your own breakout rooms. So what we can maybe do later, like towards the end of class, is for those who like want to like try it out with the MacBook, you try it out with the MacBook. For those who want to try it out with the app, try it with the app. For those who want to try it with the actual program installed on their computer, can try it out with the program installed on the computer. And in that way, because for people who like myself who have a PC, looking at it on the Mac is not particularly helpful because I don't have a Mac, and just for the sake of, using our time efficiently. Would that be useful to do that for the last like 10 minutes of our class? Okay, great. So when we do a break, I'll put you guys in the breakout rooms, 3 of them, and you can join which one you find the most helpful. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into breakout rooms here in a moment. To talk about open and closed questions. So I see quite a few hands up. I'm guessing those are all from the last question. So you can put your hand down. I have a new question. Who can tell me what the difference is between open and closed question? You know what that expression means. You've heard that before. Brandon?
Yeah, so an open question is something that you can have an answer to, like you can basically have a variety of answers. It's not like one set answer, and a closed question is like a yes or no type of question.
Exactly. So you want to practice this, Brandon, you and I?
Sure, let's go.
All right, Brandon, if I ask you, did you sleep well last night? Open or closed?
I would say that's a closed question.
Yes, that is a closed question because your answer would be yes or no. Yes, I slept well, or no, I slept terrible. If I were to ask you, Brandon, hey, Brandon, how did you sleep last night? Is that open or closed?
That's an open-ended question.
That is an open-ended question because Brandon could say a lot of different things about that. So that's an example of an open question and a closed question. You answered 100% correct. Good on you. Second follow-up question is, why is asking open questions a critical component of good customer service? Why should you ask open questions to your client, to the person coming to you for help? Let's hear from Anne Claire.
Well, because when you ask open-ended questions to clients, you have a better understanding as to what it is that they need, why it is that they're there, and you will know how to direct the conversation versus asking a client, hey, are you finding everything okay? And they're like, yes, no. And then now you have to build off of that yes or no, which you could have already had the answer 3 minutes ago had you started with an open-ended question.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Anne Claire. Eduardo, anything you would add?
No, she said it best. You want to ask open questions so you can gather all the information. You know, you can't just be like, is there something wrong with your computer? Yeah. And then there's nothing to go off.
Exactly. Yeah, why would I be calling you if everything was fine? Just want to check in, see how you were doing. Yeah, exactly. Eli, what would you add?
With open questions, you can connect more with the customer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You connect more, you build more rapport. Brian?
Yeah, to build off what everyone was saying, it shows that you're more engaged and it shows that you care more. So the customer would have a sense of like a stronger relationship with you that, oh, he's taking the time to help me out.
Mm-hmm. Yes, makes sense. And Tyrell?
It shows that you are interested in connecting to the customer to better help them. It's easier to help them when you have some type of connection to them.
Absolutely. So it looks like, thank you, Tyrell. Togrul, you have a little bit of pushback. You think, no, close is better. Why is close better, Togrul?
So as I work in customer service, still weekend, some customers are coming and I'm asking, what's the problem? So this is, close question, or I mean, open question, but they start from their grandparents or parents, how they bought the phone, how they, what's happened and everything. But I want to know, well, what's the problem actually, not your family.
That's your life story. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. No, I mean, it makes sense. Well, the other thing too is the space you're working in, you're seeing a lot of customers and it's fix the problem and get them out of the door as quick as possible.
Exactly. Okay. That's the first thing that we have to, do as soon as possible because other customers are coming and you have to be pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. So let me do a quick follow-up, Togrul. So if you're working a help desk at Facebook and your customer is your fellow employees and you were just trying to solve their problem and push them out, do you think that would be the best approach?
Of course, I don't think so. In a company, maybe the store policy is kind of, I think, different,
Yes.
If you go Apple store, so they have to, resolve your problem really fast. They have to want, you to leave. Even you buy the phone, as soon as you do payment, they give you phone, okay, bye. But till the buying the phone, this process, it takes time. But as soon as you pay, that's it, they will not help you without anything. I mean.
It's true.
But the Facebook, that has to be, I think, open because, that's the company, you have time, you have to be engaged, in my opinion.
And I agree, Togrul. I think you bring up a very valid point. I think some workplaces where you're describing, it's just we have to do these transactions quickly because you came in here to get your phone fixed. I'm here to help you fix it. I'm not here to, talk about your parents and your grandparents. But if you're in an environment like a help desk where you all are going, your customers are internal customers. They're probably going to be repeat business. You're building your professional brand. The last thing you would want is for someone to reach out to you and say, my computer's broken. And then to say, wow, that Eric guy, he was very short with me. He was very rude to me. He pushed me as quickly as possible. He didn't seem to care about me as a customer. So that's one of the things I just want to encourage all of us with. That's why this conversation on open and closed questions is so critical. All right, I see a few hands up. Maria, we'll start with you.
So I would say I have worked at a customer service before, and I think whether you like the person to talk a lot or you don't like the person to be talking so much, giving you extra details or non-ask information. I feel like the more you engage with the person, the better, because it makes them feel like, me thinking from their perspective, it makes them feel that you care. It makes them feel that you are all in to help them in whatever it is that they need. It makes them feel that you're engaged and know that, like, not just want to know about their life, but that you are there to listen and to help them. And like I said, the more information you got about them, the better you become an expert in knowing how to deal with the situation. Everyone has a different situation, so I feel like listening to what they gotta say, it's also like important to it. So yeah.
That's very helpful, Maria, for sure. Who here can put in the chat box, what quote did I share with you 2 days ago? Treat the customer as you would in the chat box, your grandma. Your grandma, exactly. So how do you treat grandma? Patient, kind, understanding, respectful, all of the above, for sure. Jesus?
I think when dealing with customers and stuff like that, I think the best approach is a combination of both type of questions, because sometimes you'll want as much detail as possible, but when you're asking about a specific thing, you might not need as many details. So I think finding a balance between both is the best approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, part of your experience, you have to use some emotional intelligence, right? If you have a person that's calling you and saying, listen, I need this fixed right now, as quickly as possible, I'm probably not going to say, so how was your commute this morning? Like, it's probably not going to come up. Like, that person made it very clear to you. They just want their stuff fixed and they want to go about their day. They don't want to be best friends. But there's some people who just, they want some more of that personal connection, and using discernment and wisdom is so critical. Yeah, read the room. And Claire, you have an interesting comment that I just want to piggyback on, and then we'll go to you, Mr. Allen, is I treat them how they treat me. So like when I'm working my job, like who is my customer as an instructor here at Europe? The student. The student is my primary person that I want to make happy in my role here. So how many students are in this room right now? 42 of you were like, wow, Eric is the worst instructor. I didn't learn anything. That was a terrible class. How does he have this job? Probably would not reflect very well on me, would it? I probably would have a pretty difficult conversation with my manager. One time, last mod, a person did not submit a deliverable. I gave that person an infraction. Actually, let me go back. That person earned an infraction because they didn't submit their deliverable. I emailed this person and I said, listen, you've earned an infraction for not submitting this deliverable. That person responded, no, you are wrong. I submitted it. Now, if I was going to treat them how they treat me, I would be rude. I'd be angry. I'd be dismissive. But guess what? I wasn't. I wrote back, said, I'm really sorry that you think you submitted it. I did not see it in Schoology. Therefore, I cannot give you credit for it. Can you please email it to me and I can give you partial credit? And the person emailed it to me and I gave them partial credit, and that was the end of that. If I just treated this person like how they treated me, it would not reflect very well on me. So that's just my encouragement to you, all of us. All right, that's my little side story.
Eric?
Hold on, Sabrina. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Alan, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. This is Alan. In terms of, kind of going back to the start of this conversation with open-ended and closed questions, I think more than anything, it relates exactly to the space you're in. If you're in an in-person situation in a retail space, so let's say a phone store or some kind of like PC parts store, I would think closed questions are the better play, simply because there's a certain turnover rate you need to have. You can't spend all day with the same customer. However, if you are in a setting where it's internal services, like you're the IT guy taking care of all the tickets inside your company, like you're fixing all the POS systems for Chase or something. At that point, because you're dealing with those people every single day, then I do understand the open-ended questions coming in. But more than that, I think you don't have to do open-ended questions if your body language is right. A lot of people take a lot of subtle hints from just how you carry yourself. And in the sense of a retail space, if you just come in with a positive attitude, the open-ended question won't be as necessary because they can just feel how welcoming you are. You can get very much to the point.
Yes, that's a really good point, Alan. Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up for sure. Just, are you a warm person and are you good at your job? If you're those two things, you'll be very successful for sure. Yeah, Sabrina.
Sorry for disrupting you. I was gonna go talk about what you were saying about the little situation you had. I get that person was being disrespectful, but because of technology, sometimes like you might submit something. I'm not sure if that person was lying or not, but from my perspective, sometimes from my end, I might submit something and quickly check out without seeing like it's actually submitted, and sometimes it doesn't go through or whatever happens, and then once we get the email back saying, oh, you did not submit it, so here's a zero. I think that's really frustrating, and then getting a partial credit for it, I get it, it's fair because you can't see it on your end, but then that frustration that, oh my gosh, I submitted it, but now I get a partial credit even though I submitted on time. I think that situation is very tough to handle, but I'm definitely approaching with the more explaining the situation rather than just saying, oh, you're wrong, I'm right, I submitted. That's definitely correct. But what would you say like would be a proper way of like explaining so we could get the full credit and be able to explain to you that no, we actually did submit it on time, just did not go through for technical issues?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Sabrina, and thank you for asking that. And I'm totally cognizant that sometimes tech fails. That's just the nature of it. So what I would say is the first thing is, of course, the person's attitude was not right. A more proper approach would be like, I'm so sorry, I thought I submitted it, and I guess it didn't go through. Is there any way that I could submit it to you via email and receive full credit? If he would have approached it that way, I would have said, absolutely, you can. But because he came with an attitude of,
yeah, not right,
you're wrong, I'm right, I'm like, listen, pump the brakes here. The second thing I would say is there a consistent pattern in this person's behavior where they're always submitting assignments late? Because if so, then it's like, well, listen, like if you submitted every deliverable on time and this one wasn't submitted, I'm gonna go ahead and say that was most likely the tech. Okay, but if you constantly every other assignment's late, at a certain point it's like, okay, there's probably a user error here because it's happening over and over and over again. The difficult decision for me, Sabrina, is this. Imagine this class of 43 people. If 42 people submitted on time and one person did not, and it says, oh, it was the tech, like what am I supposed to think? 42 people submitted it and no one had a problem, but you did. So like that, it puts me in a difficult situation. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, if it was a posture of respect and humility, I'm so sorry, I thought I submitted it. Okay, we can talk. But if it's an attitude of, no, you're wrong, I'm right, it's like, okay, I don't have a lot of patience for that. Is that helpful, Sabrina?
Yeah, definitely helps. Thank you so much for clearing that up.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Tyrell?
Just to piggyback off of what Sabrina was saying a little bit and your situation, I think you were entirely right in how you handled the situation. But the one downside to technology in this situation is that tone of voice isn't always isn't able to be picked up when sending messages and things. So sometimes, not in that situation, but sometimes you can say, no, I disagree. And because someone else takes it as disrespect, then it's perceived as that, when really it was just a very calmly typed, oh, no, I disagree with your opinion there. So it's kind of hard. Tone gets messed up through technology a lot.
It's absolutely right, Tyrell. I'm going to tell you all something, and then we're going to take our break because it's getting close to time. Is this is more important than schedule assist. Most important thing I'll say today: if you have to deliver a difficult message in the workforce, pick up the phone and call the person. All right. So Tyrell, you're a mature person, so I'll use an example. Imagine Tyrell was the person who thought he submitted his deliverable, and it didn't go through because of tech. Tyrell's a mature person. He would say, "Hey, Eric, I'm confident I submitted it. Could we please talk during your office hours about this?" And of course, and if he says to me, "Listen, I submitted it. I disagree with your assessment. I would like to get full credit," I would say, "Of course, because you handled it like a mature person, and we talked like two adults." But he would never do this because it's not the type of person Tyrell is. To email, "You're wrong, I'm right," already is like, okay. I'm having a hard time working with this person because it's just not a professional way to speak to your colleagues. So that's my feedback to everybody. If you ever have to deliver a difficult message, hop on Zoom, pick up the phone. Tone of voice is huge, because to Tyrell's point, and it's a great point, I disagree. That's just 2 words. It's not a bad 2 words. It's a perfectly fine 2 words. But a lot of those things get lost in translation via text because there's no body language, there's no tone of voice, there's no eye contact, there's none of those things. So therefore, difficult conversation, do it over the phone. All right, let's take a short break real quick before you guys run off. Watch this video and come back in 10 minutes at 11:32 and let's discuss it. All right, folks, we're approaching time. Please make your way back onto screen. The video, let's spend the next few moments talking about the video. What did you like? What did you not like? What did you find interesting? What did you find surprising? Anything you agreed with, disagreed with? And we'll spend the next 5 minutes or so chatting about that. And then we'll go on to the last activity of the day. Wow, I see many hands. Just want to remind everybody, if you hear someone say something that you're going to say, that means you put your hand down, all right? I just want to remind us of that norm. All right, let's kick it off with Franklin.
I really like how she kept her composure, even though she was being screamed at. Clearly, there was no good or bad in here. Basically, there was, the customer submitted their payment. It's just that the payment, there was a process of processing the payment, and sadly, so, there was no bad side here. It's just the customer was frustrated because she relies on the services to be productive. So she understood that, and she was able to be kind to the customer, even though the customer was super frustrated at her. And I really appreciate that. That really teaches me a lot on how, because as IT people, as IT technicians, we're gonna be dealing with that. Especially if we do help desk, we're gonna be dealing with situations like that. And that prepares me ahead of time to know how to. That gives me the example I should follow when I'm in that situation.
Thank you so much, Franklin. So one of the things that stuck out to you, really, she just kept her composure even though she was getting yelled at. Yeah, that was definitely noticeable for sure. Jesus?
One thing I found interesting, because I've had interactions like that at work, but I find one thing with like the question with the account code, I find if you phrase it differently, they don't really like go off on you like that. Like when I ask that question, I'll repeat like maybe the first 3 numbers of the account code that I happen to get. So I will repeat the numbers. I was like, "Oh, can you please tell me the rest of the number?" So I don't know if it's like the action of me giving them a task to do right away, but it just they don't respond like that when I phrase it like that.
Interesting. Okay, that's really helpful to know. Thanks so much, Jesus. Let's go to Desmond.
I was gonna say the customer she wasn't disrespectful, but she was mad. I'm gonna say that first. And second of the employee kept the same body language during the whole time. She of a response. Even when things got really intense, she kept the same body language. She didn't change nothing. Even the way she was talking about, yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So she just kept her composure, like we said earlier. Her body language did not change. Good to know. Sean?
Yeah, I agree with the way the customer service lady handled it, but if you think about it, like the customer has a due date to pay their bill, and as a customer, if you're paying on your due date, you don't expect the service to be shut off. So like, I understand her frustration, but she shouldn't have came out to customer service like that because it's not her fault. At the end of the day, she don't have control of the bill. So I feel like they both weren't wrong, and maybe the customer should have came more correct, like more polite to her, because she has to understand it's not the lady's fault. But no one wants their bill to get shut off if they pay on time.
Right, right. Yeah, good distinction. Thank you so much, Sean. Kayla?
I could relate to this, excuse me. I can relate to this video a lot because I work at a restaurant. So there I deal with a lot of people that get frustrated, like if their food comes out or if they have to wait in like a long line to get into the restaurant. So this, like keeping your composure, I can relate a lot to that because like especially at a restaurant, we always say like the customer is always right. So in that instance, like you just have to give them what they want, or like stay as composed as possible.
Very good point. I've also worked in restaurants, and anybody who has, like Kayla and I, can tell you people get very mean when they're hungry. It's like a different person comes out. It's like, geez, like take it easy. Like you're gonna eat, all right? You're gonna be okay. But yes, that's a really good distinction. Thank you, Kayla. Let's go to Eduardo.
Something that stood out and that I like that the customer service lady did was when the customer was being frustrated at her and she kept saying mean things to her, she would the customer service lady, she would take a pause and wait for her to finish her complaint, and then she would speak. She didn't interrupt her, and I think she did that. So if you were to interrupt somebody that angry, it would only frustrate them more. So I think that was a good idea.
Yes, I definitely agree. I'm glad you brought that up, Eduardo. I was waiting for someone to say that, how if you notice there was always a pause before she spoke. Because yes, if you just interrupt the person, it's just going to escalate more and more anger. Great point. Joshua?
Yeah, so I think one thing I would say is that the tone of voice can sometimes upset a customer even more. So if you have that generic, "Hi, how can I help you?" or that, "I'm sorry for the problem that you're facing," it kind of gives that impersonality to it. Like there's no compassion towards the customer, what they're feeling. So when they hear that kind of voice, that tone might upset them even more, because it's like, oh, you're just saying this just to get me to calm down, but you're not sympathizing with the problem that I am facing. And it's just so I'm like, tone of voice could sometimes, that customer service tone of voice could like really upset people still.
Yeah, good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Khadija.
Yeah, I've also had the experience of working in a fast food restaurant, and people can tell you meet a lot of different people. You have nice people who are understanding, who have common sense. And then you have those who don't seem to have common sense, and like being like, and then it can also be the company's fault, not necessarily your fault, because sometimes you'll be the only cashier and you have to like take care of like hundreds of people, as well as doing some other things on the side, like that your job expects you to do. And so one thing I learned being there is, although Joshua said that the tone, a generic tone can irritate some people, that's true. But I have this way of like, kind of like looking into the person's eyes and like, also like having a certain tone, not necessarily the generic tone, but kind of like, I'm still gonna be nice to you regardless if you're mean to me. No matter what you're doing, I'm still going to be nice to you. I'm here. I understand you. And like talking more slower, not super fast. I noticed that a lot of them will change, or like they'll feel kind of embarrassed that they kind of went out, especially when you solve the problem for them. They'll kind of be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I've been having a bad day." Some of them will do that, but a lot of them, like they still will still be irritated, you know, at the end of the day. But I learned to just keep the composure, talk a certain way. Also letting them know, like in the video, she was also like being like, I understand, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, to let them know like, okay, I understand your situation. So yeah.
Yeah, Khadija, very good point. I used to work at Wendy's when I was younger, and yes, you meet all sorts of people working in the fast food industry. I see a lot of hands. We're not gonna have time to get to all of them because we're running out of time. But I must say, it's a very good problem to have in class. How many classes have you ever taken in your entire life where it was enough time to answer all the questions? So I appreciate everyone willing to speak up and speak out. Thank you all for your engagement today. I hope that you enjoyed today's class and you learned a thing or two. I saw this funny meme the other day. It was a guy walking into McDonald's with his stimulus check, and he asks the cashier for a milkshake. And she says, of course, the milkshake machine is broken. And then the guy says, well, how much is it to fix it? Like he's like so excited about his stimulus check. Anyways, your story made me think of that. All right. Davian, can you read the deliverables for today?
Yeah, I got you, Eric. So today's deliverable, guys, is respond to at least 2 posts on discussion board by 11:59 p.m. tonight, and have a great weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, David. Before we leave, everybody, if you have any questions, I'm available to hang back. I'm going to open the rooms. If you wanted to go into a breakout room, there's 4 options. If you want to use the PC webmail application, so you're using a PC and you're using the webmail, or a PC on premise, Mac webmail, Mac on premise, you should have the ability to join. If you want to go into a room and talk with your colleagues about how to do schedule assist on those programs. Otherwise, you are free to go, and I'm happy to stay back for questions. Guys, have a beautiful weekend, and take care.
See you next week.
You guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Eric, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, Rashi, you can go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll get to you.
Okay.
Let's start with Sabrina.
For the deliverable today, is it on Schoology already, or because I only see the one from yesterday, I believe, the old one.
Yes, so it's on Schoology. It's the same discussion board we've been doing all week. So on Tuesday, it was the respond to the video, your original post, that was due Tuesday. And now your second part of that deliverable is responded to people, and that's due tonight. So some people already did it, and they're done. And that's the
Okay,
case.
so just replying to the comments, correct? Okay,
Correct.
that's all right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too, Sabrina. Izzy?
No, yeah. So I'm sorry for my lateness. Is there any way for me to like look back at the class?
Yes, this whole video is recorded. It'll be on your YouTube channel.
Okay, your official YouTube channel. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Izzy. Renee?
All right. So I have a question about the assignment about the calendar. It's due tonight, right?
The calendar invite is due tonight, yes.
Yeah. Also, so we work the calendar as a group, right? So that means we should all submit it, or
every person should individually submit their screenshot.
Okay, so screenshot of it about it, right? All right, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alex?
I think the past 2 questions kind of answered my my question, but yeah, because I did the calendar and the what's it called, what's the other one, the other deliverable?
The discussion board? You responded to 2 people already?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well then your deliverable is to have a wonderful weekend.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Welcome. You too, thank you. Anton?
Okay, so the calendar, in Claire told me that she sent it to me, but for some reason I'm not getting it on my end. So I I can't really take a screenshot of it or like a picture of it because I'm not receiving anything. She told me she sent it on Outlook, but I can't get into Outlook. I told Malik about it, but he didn't email me back.
Okay, and you tried Outlook on both on webmail and you can't get into it?
Yeah, I tried it on my phone. I tried it on the computer. I can't get into Outlook.
Okay, can you get into Schoology?
Yeah, I could get into Schoology. I did the second part of the Tuesday assignment already. I responded to Franklin, and I forget who else I responded to, but I responded to people.
Okay, so what I want you to do, Anton, is create a calendar invite on another app, on Google or whatever you have on your phone or your computer, and screenshot that. Okay, I just want to make sure that you know how to schedule the event, the time, and the description. As long as I can see that, that's good enough.
Okay, and that has to be in by 11:59 today, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Rashid, do you have a question?
Yes, so what I wanted to know, I wanted to share my screen real quick to ask about I wanted to ask just to see if what I submitted for the calendar event was correct. So
Sure.
hold on, I'm gonna share my screen now. Sorry, just logging in and stuff.
No problem.
Okay. Share screen. This right here, and this is what I submitted. Is this okay? Is this good? Because I remember you said you wanted us to make our own, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is correct. You'll get full credit for this.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Maria, do you have another? You too, sir. Thank you. You have another question, or is that it? Maria.
No, I was just here, listening to all the questions and see if something came up on my mind. I am done with all the deliverables. I just wanted to know in case I missed anything.
Of course. All right, great. Well, have a good weekend. See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.